Coming up this week on Fast Track, we have an interview with one of Purdue's inspiring alumni, as well as highlights from Purdue's game against Toledo. Also details on a new way some students on campus are relieving stress.
I'm Eric Larson. Fall temperatures are pushing in, but will they stick around? I'll have more later in your Fast Track weather.
We have all this and more coming up next on Fast Track.
What was once a pipe dream can soon be a reality. According to a group of graduate students here at Purdue University, a domestic source of fuel could be closer than you think. Tony Manzo has more.
Researchers at Purdue University's Maurice J. Zucrow Laboratories have been working to help develop a system for generating large quantities of synthetic fuel from biomass or coal that would be turned into a gas using steam and then converted into a liquid fuel. These researchers have developed this facility in hopes of learning precisely how coal and biomass are broken down in reactors called gasifiers as part of a project to strengthen the scientific foundations of the synthetic fuel economy. I sat with Daniel Gildenbecker, a visiting professor who is helping to oversee the project, to find out what future benefits this research could yield.
So the major potential benefit of this research is to produce a carbon neutral American source of energy, an American source of liquid fuel, which we can use in our cars from American sourced coal. So we have abundant coal available in America. We need to find a way to be able to convert that coal into a liquid fuel, but we need to do that in a way that's environmentally friendly, and that's what this research will lead to.
The next step in the research hopes to look at the processes with more optical access to the inside of the reactors to study them in more detail. Gildenbecker talks more about how this research compares to others of its kind.
There are lots of coal gasification research projects going on throughout the universe, throughout the United States and throughout the world for that matter. What makes this research project unique is that we are looking at trying to do coal gasification in a way that's an environmentally friendly process.
For Fast Track News, I'm Tony Manzo.
Purdue alum and C-SPAN CEO Brian Lamb returned to West Lafayette Thursday, September 23rd to interview Carolyn Curiel, clinical professor of communication here at Purdue and former press secretary to President Bill Clinton. Joey Beard has more on the story.
Two distinguished Purdue alumni took center stage September 23rd as part of a new lecture series titled Women of the White House. Carolyn Curiel, clinical professor of communication, former press secretary, and Purdue alumna, was meticulously interviewed by another Purdue alumnus and CEO of C-SPAN, Brian Lamb. The two engaged in an hour-long roundtable discussion that chronicled the intriguing career of Curiel, which includes being a reporter for the New York Times and the Washington Post. Curiel also discussed her time as a speechwriter for former President Bill Clinton and how she never expected to reach Capitol Hill.
It was an amazing experience. I mean, I say this all the time. Everyone should do some form of public service because you should know how your government works and doesn't work, and what you can do to improve it, and I think it's just a good thing for good citizenship. I never thought my public service would end up being at the White House. I had no idea.
Although Curiel was the only official member on the hot seat for the event, Lamb also fielded questions on how he thinks that media is changing and how he sees the industry down the road.
It's not going to change. People will change. Different voices will be there. But we're lucky to be in business, and our networks are financially secure. They're nonprofit. They're supported by our industry. They're not taxpayer supported. And so for the foreseeable future, that will be there. But I think, as you know, we talked about today, this revolution going on in communications is just beginning, and I have absolutely no idea where it'll be 10 years from now.
Curiel also gave some advice to those looking to advance not only in journalism, but in any field.
Oh, what do you have to lose by going after it? If you don't achieve it, you keep trying. I mentioned that I tried 3 times to get hired by the New York Times, and the third time turned out to be the charm. I think I applied 6 times to ABC News before I was hired. What happens if somebody says no? Does it mean, no, never darken my door again? It doesn't.
For Fast Track News, I'm Joey Beard.
Religion is an issue that ignites the passion of many across the world. Brother Jed made his annual appearance to Purdue University this week.
Jed Smock has been visiting campuses around the nation since 1974, trying, in his words, to save students from eternal damnation. He and his wife, Cindy, were on the Memorial Mall speaking to students Wednesday afternoon. Mrs. Smock shared why she and her husband had come to Purdue.
Well, we're here to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ. Jesus said, "Go into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature. He that believes and is baptized shall be saved. He that believes not shall be damned."
Jessica Kiger had been listening for about 2 hours, and she shares how she feels about Brother Jed.
I don't like being judged. I don't judge anyone, so me being judged by someone like them, it really upsets me.
Matthew Swag gives his take on the message.
I just see it as rude and imposing. Like, the message is that all people who don't believe what he believes are going to hell.
Chelsea Shammy explains why she was out on the Memorial Mall watching Brother Jed.
I'm out here because I'm proud to call myself a gay Christian, and this is pretty much using religion as a hate mechanism.
Not all students were negatively affected by the intensity of Brother Jed's message.
I've kind of learned to sort of ignore it because I know that they're up there all, fire and brimstone and yelling and everything. I mean, at first it was really uncomfortable, but as year after year I've seen this, it's sort of desensitized myself to it.
Smock knows the initial message seems extreme, but says it's just to get students thinking, and explains what further steps can be taken to make the switch to Christianity.
They might get involved in some of the campus Bible studies. They need to get involved in a local church as well. But what I encourage them most to do is to study the Bible on their own, maybe starting off by a chapter a day.
For Fast Track News, I'm Bitsy Matatal.
When we return, we have your political update and your national weather forecast.
We also have details on one of the largest, most unique events in West Lafayette. Stay with us.